Welcome back, Art Club. The theme that we're going to explore with our art making today is going to be mindfulness with our artwork. So I always find at this time of year, sometimes things just feel a little bit stale. Sometimes there's a little bit of disappointment after the holidays. So I like to be able to refocus and have a refreshed mindset. So we're going to do two different types of artwork today. The first one is something called a bilateral drawing. And this is an art therapy practice that is supposed to help relax and refresh the mind. So you're going to notice I actually have a very large piece of paper in front of me today. I have the corners taped down as well because you're actually going to be using both hands. That's why it's called a bilateral drawing. You are using both hands and activating both sides of your brain. So this is how it works. You are going to have we're going to use graphite sticks today. You are going to have something in each hand and you are going to be drawing with both hands. The goal is not to make something that looks recognizable. The goal is just to use both of your hands when you are drawing. That's really it. It is a surprisingly relaxing practice, and I tend, when I'm doing this, to draw so that the hands are mirroring each other. So if I am going up with my right hand, I'm going to go up with my left hand as well. Again, mirroring each other. But this is something that you can fill the paper a whole bunch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and check back in with you in just a moment. All right, so I went ahead and filled a lot of my paper with drawings from both my left and right hand. I think it's always interesting to take a look at what you have done after you determine that you're finished. I always notice, since I'm right-handed, that what I do with my right hand tends to be a little bit, it's hard to say neater, but a little bit neater, a little bit more sure of itself, and also because that hand is stronger, just a little bit darker. So after you have finished up with your bilateral drawing, you can go ahead and carefully take the tape off of the corners. You can roll it up and get that ready to take with you, so that way we can prepare for our second type of drawing today. So our second type of drawing today is something that I've been doing for a couple years that has really helped me a lot. And I usually refer to this as just a mindful drawing, or drawing with your breath. Whenever we feel stressed out or anxious, it's really quite amazing what a simple deep breath or a few of those can do in order to help calm you down and relax you. So the premise of this type of drawing is very simple. You draw one line for each breath, for each inhale and for each exhale. So I'm going to give you one of the fine tip Sharpies today in order to do this. And again, the goal of this is not to make anything that looks realistic. This is much more about the process than about the finished product. So I'll show you an example. I'm just going to start up here at the top, but it does not matter where you start, and it does not matter what this looks like, whether they're straight lines or wavy lines. You are going to draw, you're going to take a deep breath in, and that is going to create a line. And then you'll exhale and create another line. So for each inhale and each exhale, you create a line. Sometimes you can even close your eyes and do this. Believe it or not, I have done that, and I have found that the pen actually does stay on the paper for the most part. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But go ahead and do that for a couple moments and see what it is that you get with your lines. All right, so I filled up the paper with a bunch of lines. I also feel nice and relaxed at the moment. So what I usually like to do with something like this, since I have a lot of lines and different spaces, I like to be able to just reflect on what I've done a little bit more and fill some of the spaces in. If you would like to do that with watercolor today, you are more than welcome to do that. I'm actually going to go ahead and fill in some spaces with some colored pencils, just because that sounds nice and relaxing to me. So don't feel like you have to fill everything in. Sometimes it's just a matter of distributing all of the colors equally if you want to, but you can fill it in however you choose. Maybe you decide to color them in solid, maybe you decide to fill in some of the spaces with a pattern or create a pattern using what you have colored in. But go ahead and just add some color and reflect a little bit more on what you've done. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave this drawing just like this. Again, it's much less about how it looks when it's done and much more about the process that you go through as you are working on it. So I hope you enjoyed both of these different drawing techniques today and feel nice and relaxed as you leave the meeting.